All right, we are rolling. So first things first, Brooker, you're doing another row.
That's right, mate. That's right. In December 12th. And
What?
this time it's the Atlantic, which it should be hopefully a little bit, I don't know, warmer at the beginning at least. I'm not sure about nicer.
Where are you rowing from?
From Tenerife to Antigua.
Where's that?
Tenerife is like a little island. It's a little Spanish island close to Africa. Yeah.
How, what country is it near?
It's near Africa, mate.
Yeah,
It's near,
well, that's a fucking continent, mate.
right.
What?
Well, fair enough. One second. Let me, yeah, fair. Let me, let me actually get it up because my geography is just about as good as you Americans, so I don't want to Tenerife. Yeah.
Uh,
See where Western Sahara and Morocco. So it's close to there.
my people.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. You should come out, come and see the family, see me off.
Shit, bro.
Yeah. But it should
So
be a bit
you'll so
because
that's
it's you're going off into deep water straight away, not like the last time.
that's almost a straight line across.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, because I think um Italy is pretty in line with New Jersey, which is pretty wild. That's why so many Italians ended up right in Ellis Island.
Right,
It's just like a
right.
straight shot and a little more south. Shit.
Italy's a bit more, yeah, it must be a bit more south, no, than New York, I
It's
guess.
not, dude, it's not far off.
Not that far off. Could be.
No,
Could be.
it's really not that far off.
Could be. Could be. But yeah, mate. So that's coming up in December. We had some big there's some struggles with finding the fourth man.
Oh,
And
really? Why?
just like we had one of the boys couldn't make it anymore just because of family obligations. Like it's a massive commitment, right, to do these roles. And then one of the boys from last time, Rich, he couldn't make it happen. And then we were trying to, pick the right guy. And like last time, the team changed a couple times, but now we've settled yesterday. So that's breaking news for us as a as a road team. We've got a full boat now. Got our fourth man in, and yeah, that just happy days. What are you sharing?
This fucking ad. Hold on. What the hell am I sharing here? Hold on. Nope, that's not what I'm sharing. Mate, talk about being an idiot. Stop share. I'm trying to share this damn. It's not letting me share. What the hell's going on? I'm trying to share this map. But anyway, go on. I didn't know you had to get a new rower.
Yeah, well, we were contemplating just going as a trio, as a free man, because I mean, at the end of the day, the most important thing is like who you're in the boat with. You know what I mean?
Not if you're trying to do a world record. Yeah, look at
Well,
this.
even still, yeah, I would say so.
So Western Sahara, straight line, yeah, to Antigua. Straight line. And then look at Italy, bro. Italy, New Jersey. It's like
Yeah.
almost a straight line. So you come through
Well,
and boom, hey, don't. Bob's your uncle. But I mean,
yeah.
little island, yeah, straight line down. Holy shit. Bro,
Straight
that's a
yeah.
that's a long fucking row. That's got to be a longer row than when you did California to Hawaii, no?
It's only what's crazy is I think it's only 200 miles more.
So what is that? 3 days? 4 days?
No, I should hopefully two and a half, 2.5 days, max 3 days, hopefully. But you never know though, mate. Like the weather's so different. Could be quick, could be a fast year, could be slow year. This year that just happened, it was a slow year. Um,
What does that mean?
slow means less wind, and you can easily add on a week. If you have
Ugh.
for a week or two, yeah. And the worst thing with the no wind is it's like max effort deadlift every single oar stroke because the drag is so high on the boat. So you're working your tits off as hard as possible in the blaring heat, and you're doing like one knot, which is like less than 1 mile an hour. So, and you might be doing that for a week, 2 weeks. Well, let's hope not anyway. Should be a quick year, hopefully. This year was slow, so let's hope. Well, no, last year was slow. Let's hope this year's quick.
Going nowhere fast, one knot.
Well, yeah, and sometimes you end up you're going backwards. you're rowing into the wind, and the wind's just knocking you back. So you're just rowing hard to hold your position.
Uh, yeah, fuck that. So,
Yeah.
where did you find this guy?
So this guy was a guy who was interested in rowing with us in the last row, but his whole situation was changing a lot. He's a Kiwi boy,
Oh, you were
ex
telling me about
firefighter.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
ex
yeah, yeah.
firefighter. Now he's running he's like directing he's like he's into steel, like construction business, runs a construction business, hanging steel and building warehouses and stuff like that. So he's a good old boy. He does a lot of ultra marathons, and in New Zealand they've got this. They do a lot of adventure races, which is like you carry a pack raft and you hike in a lot, and then when you come to lakes, you get your pack raft out. And then you rowing across. So it's just like ultra long distance races, and he's got quite a bit of experience with that. So
Bro, that sounds awful.
the only thing that makes it better is when you got a good crew with you. Then it can be fun. There's something about working hard with a good bunch of boys. That's good. That's good.
The fucking that I guess. But I mean shit, dude. Yeah, I mean you got nothing else to do and your hands are just going to be blistered to hell, your ass. So this is what you didn't talk about last time that you and I started talking about. Who were we with when you were over here? When we started talking about the row and I was like, dude, you never told me any of this.
Oh, we were with Bird.
Were we with Bird? You were
Yeah, in the
talking,
car. Yeah.
bro, and you were talking about your ass.
Yeah, well, that's one of the hardest things to manage. Yeah. Yeah.
I never thought about that. I know when I'm on the assault bike for a half hour, my ass is just, it sucks. It's just
Yeah.
brutal. I can't imagine being having
Well,
having to row.
the first experience I had with a bad ass, right, was when I was training for the Ironman. And like I want to talk at some point about my strategy with training now for this next role. But when I did the Ironman, I'm like, I'm not doing it in the way these normal techie guys do it, Like everyone that does an Ironman is the same kind of dude, right? Bit nerdy, super diligent, wants to be tracking their heart rate zones and loves all the technical things about the bikes and the wetsuits and all of this, right? My style was like cowboy style. Let's just break it down and then let's do a little bit more of each of the disciplines over time. And at one point, I was like, I think I was 3 months out, and I was like, okay, I really need to get used to this bike. So I tried to cycle across basically the whole of, not the whole of Switzerland, but it was a good fair chunk. It was like 250 kilometers, right? And it was the first time my ass got real bad sitting on those road bikes, the saddle, like the assault bike, man. You got cushions, you got like memory foam on there, bro. It's like a pillow top compared to this, bro. And I'm like, I'm real far away. Phone's already just like lost charge after about 2-3 hours. So I got no phone left. Pretty much using the road signs to get back home, going across Switzerland. Weather's awful. Just I'm in so much pain with this ass. And that was like the first time I realized how bad it was. And then a friend of mine gave me this thing called chamois cream.
Yeah, yeah,
Heard of it? And
yeah.
that's glorious. So like when you get used to soaking yourself up with that. And then anyway, after a while with the bike, it's like all things, you get kind of used to it. I think sitting on that rowboat though, it never really got that much better, your ass. You just got better at ignoring it. Because you literally spend the first 20 minutes of your shift trying to fidget just to in a way that you're kind of like it's just bearable, because it's like it's just the rubbing that happens, and then it creates sores. And like keeping yourself clean is the most important thing on the boat, because people get infected like nut sacks and all sorts there, and if you get something like that out in the middle of the ocean, you're in big old trouble. Big.
Nah,
Biggest.
you just jump in the salt water. That'll disinfect. No?
No, you might want to get one of those acupuncture needles and lob that inside your nutsack and drain it out. Mate, it's yeah, bro. So like the one of the things they show you actually before you go is like it's important to clean yourself because if you don't, here's some pictures of people's bums when they've come back. And I mean it's awful. Like I mean I've seen bed sores once before, but like to see like this, it's like looks like a pepperoni pizza you have a fucking arse.
Oh,
Yeah. Real red raw, bro.
and it's
Raw and pussy. And then
oh,
once that starts, how you meant to manage it when your body's just on the gradual decline? And you can't escape the work because there's 12 hours a day that you need to be putting in, just minimum, you know. So the best way to prevent it though is pseudo cream and then the thicker one. What's the thicker one that you use for the babies? Penarton, you know? You have Penarton over there, it's like thick, like nappy cream, like diaper cream. You lob that all around you, move it all around, get your gooch nice and good, all your butt cheeks. Yeah, mate. Make sure it's all nice and moist. And then you need that when you're rowing. And then as soon as you get off, you need to just dry yourself out. And that just means being naked, chucking your legs up on the side and getting some airflow going in. And if you're lucky that your fans are still working, you direct all the fans straight to your exit, because that is what you need. That's the most glorious feeling in the world. 2 hours of sweaty moisture, getting a bit of fresh air on there, mate. That'll send you right to sleep.
oh, dude, I want to fucking vomit. Oh,
Yeah. But
oh,
luckily
bro.
we weren't too bad. There were a couple times where I was like, oh, my bum's getting real bad. And then, you do like a little selfie pic. And then you're like, oh, actually, it's nothing. But you don't take much to get to be real sore, to be really, really, really sore. We'll probably try new seats this time because also like the last time we were also kind of cowboy style, with food. Everyone's like, make sure you test the food out. And then we just took whatever and we had no variety with our stuff. Just we'll figure it out. And I mean, obviously it went all right, right? So, and then the same with the seats. Everyone's like, upgrade your seats and get different types of padding. And we did have we're like, fuck it, we'll be all right. I remember once my mate Rich, he put four of these pads on. So he's basically sitting on it looks like he's sitting on a high chair and he's like wobbling all over the place just because his bum's in bits, just trying to find that level of comfort. And eventually, after a while, you realize it's almost like adding more cushion just makes it worse because then you've got more movement. You
Yeah,
literally just need to try and be stuck to it. And like, yeah, it's horrible for the first 20 minutes, but you know what? It's horrible for everything the first 20 minutes. It's horrible for your hands. It's horrible for your back. It's horrible for just to get your legs moving again. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
you coming back to that realization, well, don't matter how I'm feeling, I've got 2 hours of this. And yeah.
That's all cardio. The first 20 minutes blows. It
Yeah,
really does.
exactly. 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 Like my strategy now, because like for the Pacific, I really didn't want to be the idiot that was like, oh, I coach athletes, so I know everything about everything, and I'm just going to train us what I think. So I brought in a really good guy, experienced guy, Gus Barton, who's worked with like so many teams every year, like doing ocean crossing, and he's done it before himself. And he was brilliant at helping us, like, really become rowers, in like a traditional rowing sense, using the row machine. But to be honest, mate, I fucking hate the row machine. I hate it so much that I didn't even used to give that to clients, you know? It's just awful. So now what I'm thinking of doing is like basically I'm going to block it out. So we've got 9 months to go. We split it into three different blocks. And right now we're just like pretty much we're going to use a lot of like clusters. I remember when we spoke to Jake Tora and he
Yeah.
likes this sort of like magical 40 number, but instead of going for 4 sets of 10, you go for 8 sets of 5. And I love anyway, just like high volume of weights, like lots of work sets. I really like that for myself. I feel like I respond well to that. And essentially, the rowing, you can't prepare yourself for whatever it is, like 30 plus days of 12-hour a day sessions, right? And getting used to like really all the sleeping and the eating and all the environmental factors. So I'm just going to break it all down to just a 2 hour window of rowing, right? And that's like that's the goal, is to improve average watts on a 2 hour stint of rowing. And that's the target for the 9 months. So basically, right now,
So no matter what, all your workouts are gonna be fucking 2 hours a row.
basically 2 hours of whatever. And at the beginning, we keep it general and we try and keep it fun. And then by the end, it's like, we'll forget about the fun and just get on the rower. That's about it.
Uh, yeah, no matter what, it's just gotta be 2 hours of training and nonstop and like slow cadence, max watts.
Max watts. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Which
what's your RPM? What's your rows per minute?
usually like we like around 20.
So you got to get 20 max reps every fucking minute. So
Yeah.
one rep every 5 seconds, maximum output for 2 fucking hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it
And
doesn't matter. It
then
doesn't
we'll
matter
worry
what you
about
do.
the other shifts after that.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll worry about them after.
yeah. uh, well, I mean that shit though. What you're doing, it's not about the physical. It's just about
No,
it's just your fucking mindset. Like that. That is literally the toughest man wins. I guess the guy who can ignore the most. I don't fucking know. What?
I don't
How do
know
you
if
how do you win that?
it's about tough. Because like there's loads of tough guys in this, man. There's like loads of special forces dudes. There's loads of there's Olympic champions, right? Like or like Olympics. We beat a team last time that had an Olympic silver medalist rower in it, like
What
a
was the name of that team again?
ocean warrior.
Ocean Warrior,
That was
Kiwi
it.
Fondue.
Yeah, that's right.
The Ocean Warriors lost to the Kiwi Fondues.
Right. That's right. Cowboys of the Sea. The professionals lost to the Cowboys of the Sea. But but yeah, I don't know if it's so much about being tough. What I do know it is though, and it sounds cliche, but it is really important because it's such a long period of time, is about being a happy boat. It's about enjoying each other's company, working hard for each other, not caring too much about the state you're in, and more like trying to make at least your cabin mate, if not the whole team, like trying to be a positive influence on them and trying to make their, like a little thing, mate, like someone that prepares your food for you so that when you're done, you don't have to wait like the 5 or 10 minutes for it to rehydrate. That goes so far. Like you can be in the most miserable mood possible because it's like a pressure cooker, right? So if like you're a bit agitated, you're not a bit agitated, you're really fucking agitated. You know what I mean? And if you're pieced out and in flow, you're really pieced out and in flow. So it's just like send you to the extremes. But like those little gestures of what people do, like they filling up your water bottle, because it's all like you realize after very quickly how lazy you want to be because you're so exhausted, and like how much effort it is just like an extra five, like taking 5 minutes less sleep, so that you can then fill up the guys' water bottles. Like that's a great crew member, and that means that someone, no matter how bad they're feeling, they want to work real hard for that guy too. And then you could like you're creating this great culture where everybody's really helping each other out, and that's really Mike, the only reason why I want to do it again is because of that brotherhood and that teamwork. That's the best thing ever, and because you're in the middle of the ocean, it's like you get in the adventure aspects, the survival feeling of what's going on. You get the opportunity to get really lost in the hard work and to really bond together as a bunch of boys. And that's the beautiful part of it, mate.
Are you nervous about having the new guy on the boat once you guys have the bond?
No. And the reason being is I don't want to take really anything from the last role in terms of comparisons. He's a new guy. It's a new ocean. We're also different. Will have been a couple years. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like everything's new. Like we got to see it as new, and also that we're not old nothing. We shouldn't like expect that that we know what's coming up. You know, we can take what we've learned, but not like, okay, now this is because we had such a great experience last time that this is this like we're guaranteed this. If we do all of these steps, we're not guaranteed then the same outcome because that's also not true, right? You know, you can't replicate things. It's like an athlete too. Like, oh well, I did this off-season training and then I had a great season, so I just got to keep repeating that, and then I'm gonna have more great seasons. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
It's just true, you know. So, and like, I love that underdog feeling. And I still think we're also underdogs coming into this because this is going to be a really competitive race. And there are a lot of guys out there that look like they're well organized, well prepared teams. And then there's us, the Cowboys of the Sea, bro. How you doing? We're just going to show up and have a good time, you know?
You know, it's it's interesting the mindset different people have when they go into stuff like this. I if I were to ever do a marathon or I were ever to do a an Ironman or even a transatlantic row or trans-Pacific row, like my I don't know, I wouldn't think like, hey, I'm in it to win it. Like
Right.
that's not the goal for me. The goal is, hey, let's just fucking finish,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Like it's but I mean, your goal was your whole team's goal like, hey, let's win this thing the whole time?
No, well, our idea was let's put ourselves in the best position to win.
Why?
Why? Because if you're, it's a possibility that we could win. That was really the expression was in the last row. It's a possibility. Like people, like
Well,
every
of course it's a possibility, but why? Because like so many people are going to drop out. But like why even think in something like this where it's so inconsequential if you win or lose? Why even go into it with that mindset of like, hey, let's win this? Like that's one thing. Because to me, it's like, well, I don't get any more money if I fucking win, and you know, the only benefit is I finish faster. So I want to finish as fast as I fucking can. I want to get off this fucking boat. You know, like
sure.
so why get that mindset? Now, I'm not trying to talk you out of it. I'm trying to understand it.
Oh, sure. No, 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 no. To be honest, I don't think you'd be able to talk me out of it anyway, because I think it was just a natural thing. It's a race. So if it's a race, you're going to try. Like, I mean, when I did, like bearing in mind, right? Like we had no experience before. So we weren't coming in like, look, I'm a seasoned rower or I've done this before. So I know based on everybody else, like we can kind of do it. Like it was a complete dream. Like it's a possibility that we could win this and break the record. And we were just talking about it, but in a fun way, not in a crippling way. Like sometimes you can also talk about these goals and it's like, if I deviate anything apart from like just smashing this, then it's a failure. And you're playing not to lose rather than playing to win.
Mm-hmm.
Like our whole thing was let's play to win, but we don't need to win. Like I don't, and also this time around, I don't need to win. I've been there, done it, got the t-shirt. I'm here to have fun and to enjoy it and to have all of the experiences, like I was saying, this team cohesiveness, being like lost in the hard work, having like these very powerful moments with nature. You can't. It's hard to even explain it or to even to write it down, especially for me. Like I'm not that good at prose. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like very powerful, beautiful moments that I've got from this last row. That's what I really want to have again with some good boys. These good, extraordinary moments. But like going into it with like the mindset of let's win. Yeah, it's a race. If it's a race, you try and go for it. I mean, with the Iron Man, I just wanted to finish it. But there was something about this role last time where I was like, I was captivated by this idea. I used to spend like so many hours visualizing us coming into Hawaii, seeing all the family, coming in, winning it, breaking the. I mean, I would spend hours. I would get lost in these fantasies on the ocean. It didn't end up turning out exactly the way that I had imagined it. I didn't imagine we were going to get there at 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever, you know. And I didn't even imagine that we'd break it by this many days or something like that. But I just was captivated by this idea. And this time around too, I'm also again captivated by this idea of, of us working real hard and having a really good performance, better than what we can imagine. But we can't be holding on to it too tight. We've got to go into the processes of what that is, and that's by being, our team motto is great. This stay cheesy. Courage, honesty, effort, enthusiasm, safety, and an epic experience for everybody. And the last bit is the most important thing. If we can all have an epic experience, then it's a win. Even if we come third, even if we come last, even if we've all had an epic experience, then it's a winner.
Where'd you get that stay cheesy?
We created it as a team together. It's like this. It's like looking. It's like the process versus systems versus goals
Yeah.
framework. Right? It's the same. You do the things that you focus on. You make the goals the things that you're completely in control over, and you do care about the outcome, but caring about the outcome is not going to necessarily change the outcome that much. It's the result of the processes, right?
Hmm.
So you just hammer down on that. And so for us, it's really simple. When you're on the oars, you try to make the boat move 0.1 knots a bit faster than when you've come than the shift that has just finished. So you're trying to go a little bit quicker than what's just happened. And you try and keep the energy super high. And then when you're off, you make sure you're clean. You try and help out, see what the boys might need, and make sure you rest, eat, keep yourself, like I said, keep yourself clean. And that's about it. Keep the vibes high. Can't do much else.
What do you do when you see aliens in the fucking water?
You try and talk to them, mate. Why are you here? What are you trying to show me? What are you trying to teach me? I told Mike about this. So for people listening, we were driving in New Jersey and we saw a drone flying. And I told Mike about there was a couple nights where I kept seeing this star, or what I thought was a star, but now I think is an alien, that would just not move. And it was so much brighter than everything else. And then all of a sudden it would just disappear and then appear at a different part in the sky. And again, then not move. And like two of the other boys, I was like, boys, this thing is like following us. And they were in it too. But we were also in and out of hallucinations at this point. So we don't really know how true it is or not. So, but I know I didn't hallucinate the US warship. I know that one I didn't.
Tell that story.
Yeah, that one is we were just coming out from the real hard slog, and that means no wind, and the temperature went from being miserable and cold to then miserable and hot. Um, and then just in the distance, I could see something, and we haven't seen anything for like I want to say 8, 9 days at this point. Not even wildlife. It's just nothing, just the endless blue, and then in the distance saw some kind of vessel, and very quickly I was like, that looks like fucking pirate ship or some crazy they don't or like or military or warship, because it had this kind of very weird kind of checkered plating that you could see from so far away. You could see it wasn't like a cargo ship. And then I said to the boys, "Hey, I think that's like, military." And they're like, "No, no, no, don't worry, I ain't going to be military." And then literally within about 5 minutes, or at least that's what it felt like, it went from being 40 mile away to literally we're towering up and looking at it. But before that, we saw and heard the helicopters. So as it was approaching us, so it's still a good, let's say 20 mile away, they sent off an Apache helicopter that came and circled around us, looking at us like, what the hell are these drugs? This is a new way of running drugs or something, like. And then all of a sudden we got a call on the radio, and it was like, ocean row vessel, happy days. This is US warship. And then we had a little chat, and the guy's like, "What are you doing here?" And we're like, "We're rowing." And he's like, "Yeah, but why are you rowing in the middle of the ocean? Like, where are you going?" And we're like, "We're part of a race. This world's toughest row. You can look it up online. We're in first place. So if you don't mind, like, we want to keep working hard and rowing hard." And then he was like, please stand by. And we're like, what the fuck is going to come back now? You know, and he must have been checking with his, checking at the internet or whatever to see if we were telling the truth or not. Because I mean, it is quite suspicious, especially the way that we look like a bunch of outcast you know, like everyone's hairy, no one's you know, smelly. There's nothing going on apart from it looks like we're just literally transporting something that we shouldn't be. And then he came back and was like, "Hey, you boys are doing great. Keep it up." People came out onto the deck and waving at us, and we had this beautiful moment. They sent another helicopter then back up, and it was circling around us, and the guys were like the gunners were leaning out and waving at us, circling around us.
Were they
And
shooting?
no, they weren't shooting. We wanted to ask them to shoot their cannon, and I can't remember if Rich actually asked or not. In my memory, he did ask, and they just didn't reply. You know, but he also might not have asked. And then literally what was more crazy was as soon as he was like US warship out, mate, I want to say like within 2 minutes, he just disappeared. And this is like a huge vessel. And like
How big
it,
was it? How many people like you think were on it?
it was like a small aircraft carrier. Yeah.
So like 100 yards?
I want to say more than that, mate.
Shut up. It was
I
that
want
big?
like what's a yard? There's 2 yards to a meter, right? So you're saying about
No,
50 feet boat?
no, no, no. It's a yard is a meter, just about.
A yard's a meter. Oh, mate, then it's yeah, it's for sure. It was more than 100 meter, bro. Oh yeah, yeah, bro. This is like no, I'm talking. It's like a proper US warship.
Bro.
Yeah, yeah, and it moved so fast and like silent, and also like you can't pick it up on any of the radars, you know, because like I was saying, it's got checkered plates on it, so it looked like something you'd see in Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Like this kind of. Do you know what I mean with like the checkered plates? Like it weren't like a
Yeah.
smooth. It had
Yeah.
like radar reflecting things, and it was kind of camouflage, but it weren't. But it kind of, you know, it was almost like it looked like they could flip a switch or something, and the boat would just turn blue or something if it needed to. You know what I mean?
That's
Like it looked
cool.
high tech. It looked real high tech. So yeah. But yeah, going back to my training then, mate. Right. So what I'm thinking, how if I'm going from like cluster weight sets, right? So a lot of high volume weights, especially in this first phase, I kind of like the idea of as we're getting more closer to the event, obviously reducing the amount of time in the gym as much as possible. So basically, we're more heavily leaning on high volume of weights right now for work capacity, and we're doing, you know, it's like three sessions of 1 to 2 hours of general easy cardio, and it can be in any way. So like you can pick a bike program on the stationary bike, you can go road bike, and you can go rowing if you want. You can go mountain climbing, like I do a lot of that. Gami's doing a lot on the skis. And then as every block goes, we're going to sort of like pull out one of the weights, add in another cardio, right? So that by the end, we're going into like real like maintenance, shitty word, but maintenance weights. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so what I was thinking of doing is going then from like this high volume of weights to then coming down and maybe into like block two, doing something like a only like one main lift and using like the APRE system. Do you remember that? You ever
No.
did work of that? I think what was his name again? Brian Mann. Do
Hmm.
you remember that name? I think he
Yeah.
was like a good power lifter. He had this quite nice APRE um, for weights. It's basically what it's like using rep ranges, right? So say like for example, if you're doing like a free APRE free, it's like autonomous programming regulation or something like that. Basically, it's the amount of reps you get with a certain weight then dictates how much in the weight you go up or not. But basically, you're doing like two sort of real work sets of max effort, let's say, like max amount of reps. And basically you're trying to just move whatever was your free RM, you're trying to make you're trying to do more reps with it, and then you're going to adjust the weight as you go forward. And I'm thinking of only using that for like two main lifts. I think I'm going to massively work on the RDL because that's the rowing motion. So in our phase one, I'm doing like more like snatch grip RDL work. It's fucking joyous, right? Fucking
Bro,
brilliant.
you know what I'd do? I'd sit there for fucking 2 hours straight, 315 on the fucking bar, bent over rows, one rep every 5 fucking seconds.
Yeah, that's what I'm literally thinking. Or using like the Pavel system,
What's that?
Pavel's like, I think it's like every hour or two, like you just go and like you smash like a real heavy set, and
Yeah.
then you just go about your day. And I mean, that's how I got my pull-ups to something pretty good. I was like doing some pull-ups every hour, just set an alarm, not go to failure, but just whack out a couple. But you just do that all the time. I mean, that's real applicable strength, no?
Yeah. Yeah. So realistically, here's what you can do. Set your timer for a minute, and every minute just get 20 reps. 20 hard fucking reps every minute. And you do that for 2 hours, right?
Yeah,
Because you said you go, and instead of one every 5 seconds, just get 20 fucking reps every minute on the minute. I think that'd be a good general thing. So like set one, do squats and like fucking try, like a leg press or something where you have to like you're able to get max watts out of it and
sure.
just bang out 20 reps every fucking time. Now, what you can do, you could do the short to long approach with this, right? So start off 2 hours, your first go in a circuit, right?
Yeah.
Um, do start off with 5 reps of everything or start off with 8 reps of everything and then slowly build yourself up so you get to the 20 reps in 1 minute time.
That's not a bad idea to see it like that. I do want to make this as simple as possible because I mean you can get so lost in the weeds with this kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, how much does it really matter when an Olympic medalist rower?
Yeah, but
You
also from
know what I
from a
mean? But
robustness, resilience standpoint, like you want if you're doing 2 hours of work, no matter what, and it comes out to be about 20 reps per minute. Like you want
yeah,
to simulate that on your body as best as you can. Like that's the end goal, right?
yeah,
So it's like, and as far as the specifics of the rowing go, eh, whatever. You'll figure that out as you go. But like from a general standpoint, I think that'd be the best preparation that you can do, other than like actually doing the fucking event.
yeah,
Like that's,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Try to get it as specific as possible
yeah.
to that. I mean, it's you could do. I mean, yeah, you could even do 20 hard fucking rows on the row machine
On the erg,
as
absolutely.
one, and like if you're done in 20 seconds, you're done in 20 seconds.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But it's just 20 reps every minute on the fucking minute.
That's
And
even better.
mhm.
It's better the quicker that it's done. No, I mean
Well, no,
literally
no, no, because it's still going to be it's still going to be the 2 hour workout.
for sure. But you get listen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Between 20-second rest or 40-second rest, I take the 40 seconds any day of the week.
Any day
You
of
know
the
what I
week.
mean? But so I mean, I do like this because how I'm thinking of with the just to make it as like simple as possible, even with the row machine, it's like I want to like really the best thing we can look at is this 2 hours max average watts, right? That's really if there's anything that's kind of important, it's that. But then working on that too, I'd love to see peak try and maximal versus operational outputs. Let's get that max wattage out. But does it really make that big of a difference over two
No,
hours? Probably not.
no, I
Probably
don't think
not.
so.
Probably not.
No, because
So,
if that was the case, I mean, you're Olympic rower. You know what I
oh,
mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
this is
But I
this is
mean,
how am I going to callus my body? How am I going to build resilience? How am I going to get the tissues and the system to get used to this type of effort rather
yeah,
than get better at this movement because that's just going to go to shit.
it's going to go to shit. It's also in the ocean, so it's moving all the time. And to be fair to him, like when I did talk also to this Olympic guy, he was like, he was, I mean, he's in like how you prepare for that is also like you're just insanely fit. Like the amount of like baseline cardio you're doing all the time is just enormous, right? So the fact is, if it was a team of Olympians, it might be a bit different. Although there was an American varsity row team some years ago that also sucked balls. They were coming in thinking they were going to fucking dominate, and they ended up two of the guys pulled out halfway through the race, had to get rescued. So, um, so yeah. So then, I mean, I'd probably look at then 2 hours of work, try and get 20 good reps of a good RDL, strength based work, 20 good reps on the minute every minute for 2 hours. That's also then, so there you go. That's my weight. That's what I'm working for. And then row wise, average watts for 2 hours. And that's about it.
Yeah.
That's about
And
it.
again, I would get something to, if you really give a fuck, I'd get something to measure watts in each exercise that you can do. So you could get like the Move Factor X.
What do you
And
think of that move? Haven't they made a new one?
yeah, yeah. So apparently you're able to count the reps. You don't have to wait for the beep. So that should be all right. If you plug in the weight, it has the exercises for you. You could do that. We use it. But we go one rep at a time. With
Right.
this, with this, you'll be able to count it. I think Rolf uses Muscle Lab for most of his
Of
stuff,
course
but
he does.
that shit's
He,
expensive.
he's using like a 30-year-old system as well or something, ain't he?
Is he? Is he? I didn't know that.
I think so. I think he's using like the original.
But other and maybe even a Tendo because you could get one of those old school Tendo units, and then if you can calculate the meters per second, then it's just it's an equation, right? Power equals force times velocity. So you'll have the velocity and it's mass times acceleration. So you could just do a basic, whatever the mass is, and assuming that you're accelerating it, like that's to do acceleration for that change in velocity. So like it literally just be mass times speed for that mass times velocity. That'd be the simple equation for your watts with that. I think. Yeah, I mean you could do that every rep. Every rep, you could track it with the Tendo or the Move Factor X or even the erg.
I've got the
Um,
Big Max Pro somewhere back in Swiss, and that's not a bad one. That does like really basic
what is it?
V Max Pro, I think. Rolf told me about it years ago. It's a tiny little unit
Mhm.
that magnetic, it goes onto the bar.
Awesome.
Yeah, so just something like that. And yeah, and I think then I'd go might go with some. What's the name of the old? What was it? The Dorian row was it? Where it's kind of like a RDL into a
Exactly.
into
Into a
like
row.
into like a barbell row. That's
Yep.
it.
Now the difference between that exercise for 2 hours and the row is the constant shearing, uh, the time under tension of the RDL on the
Yeah,
lower back. It's way different
yeah,
because there's not that. It's only under tension when you're under tension with that row.
yeah.
Because gravity's not always doing it. So I'd be careful. I would
Drop
do it.
it. I'd probably drop the bar, hit a row,
Yeah.
concentric only, because that's really all the row is anyway. It's not like you're absorb like when you're going into the catch. If you do it properly, it's just the position of your body as you push your arms and bring yourself forward. The momentum should actually pull you in. You don't really want to be pulling yourself in.
Hmm.
If you do it properly, it's actually a bit more of a movement that just sends you back in.
Hmm.
And I think that is because that would be the thing that would cripple me. Because I mean, if we like that's a lot of fucking reps, isn't it? Like, what is it? 20 a minute over 2 hours, 140 minutes times 20. I mean, that's a
Do
lot.
it, bro.
Volume insane.
Do it in a GPP circuit. Don't and at most stick it like five state or five sets in a row in a single station. Then move on, rather than doing one. Right. So let's say you pick jump squats with weights to simulate watts. Um, Jump squats with weight with dumbbells, uh, bent over rows, RDLs, um, the actual erg, maybe chest pass with a Smith machine,
Mhm.
um, and I don't know. Let's say and like let's say a standing chest press too, right? To use your legs into it, like a jerk. So let's say you do those 5 6 exercises, and you just keep them on rotate. Do 20 reps, next exercise. 20 reps, next exercise. 20 reps, next exercise. Boom, boom, boom. Or 20 reps, rest, 20 reps, rest, 20 reps, rest, next exercise. Right? You do 3 sets, 4 sets, 5 sets, next
Yeah.
exercise. And then
Yeah.
before you know it, you finish a circuit, it's either 5 minutes or 25 minutes have gone by.
Yeah.
Right? So like it's
Yeah.
and that's general. If you're gonna get specific, then get specific.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
it. That's it.
Don't do the fucking RDL into the row for 2 fucking hours. You'll break your back.
For
You
sure.
know,
For sure.
keep
Sure.
keep the general exercises general specific, but not specific.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the what
Absolutely.
because it's not about performance enhancement from a Watts specific standpoint, as if like it's a short term race, as if it's a 2 hour race or even a 24 hour race. This is a 24 fucking day race. So it's
Yeah.
just it's that's mental resilience and body resilience. So like build your body, don't break it, and just
Yeah.
keep the concept and keep the theme the same rather than the specifics of the movement. Because if you got to
Yeah.
do the specifics of the movement, hop on the fucking erg.
Exactly. Exactly. And to be honest, I couldn't believe after the row in the Pacific, I went on to the erg, I want to say 2 weeks after we'd finished. And I felt like I'm gonna fall off the thing. I'm like, this is so different compared to the
Really?
actual, oh mate, it's like chalk and cheese. Like chalk and cheese. So different. So different. So yeah, I mean, at the end, you just I don't know. The more you got to be comfortable and knowing yourself that you know what, I can push hard for these 2 hours, and then just know after the first 5 days are going to be miserable. After that, it gets a little bit easier every day, and then after a while, you feel like after 2 hours of sending it, 10 minutes later, you're like, throw me back in. You know, it's just
Yeah.
really crazy how quick the adaptation goes, especially because it's purely aerobic, right? There's no, even like say like trying to run or something like that. It's also a different ball game. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the rowing is what makes the rowing hard is it uses so much muscle on your body, right? It's like
Yeah.
legs and back and arms and a lot of especially on the ocean that you're trying to hold your balance. Like you are really using pretty much everything apart from say your titties, But even
Mm-hmm.
then you can even argue as you push, but whatever, that's not resisted or it shouldn't be. Um, but yeah, like compared to like running with the wear and tear on that, um, it's just about knowing also in your head that you can do it and you
Mm-hmm.
feel comfortable in it. So, but I do like that idea of cycling it. That's also what I was kind of, what I was, I was more in the, let's, let's just RDL for 2 hours. No?
Yeah, yeah. No, no, no. Fuck yeah, fuck that. No. No, it's you know, you know what it's like? That's comparing like a baseball player. Would you ever tell a baseball player just chop down trees to get better at hitting a fucking
Of course
baseball?
not. Of course
No.
not. But
Or swing a
we're the worst.
sledgehammer. You know
We're
what
the
I mean?
worst at coaching ourselves. It don't matter how good you are coaching others. I feel like we're very really bad at coaching ourselves. That's why it's good to discuss ideas.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah, thank fucking God we had this conversation. You'd be fucking crippled and you have your whole team crippled with this shit.
No,
Fuck.
no, I would. No, I would not yet. I would have done it even more stupid. I would have waited till like a month out. I'd have been like, no, no, no. We're gonna keep it real general. We'll just get used to the suffering and enjoy that. And then just before, let's do it like this now. Let's peak it like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly think you just get used to suffering for 2 hours. That's all there is to it. Hey guys, your workouts lock out 2 hours and you're going to do a circuit. The same circuit for 2 hours. We're going to start block 1 or excuse me, day 1, week 1, we're going to do 5 fucking reps every minute for 2 hours. If you feel like doing 6, do 6. If you feel like doing 7, do 7. We're doing 5. Next week we do 6. Next week we do 7. Next
Yeah.
week we do 8. And then I mean, how many weeks out are you?
We're 9 months out, so we have more than enough time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh, we
52
have a
weeks
lot of time.
divided by 4, that's 13. So you're 39 weeks out. So bro, you
Yeah.
got you know what I mean? You could go all
Oh,
the
we
way up
got
to
more than enough time.
yeah.
More than enough time. And to be honest, the the cool thing also with the cardio, and also this is how I want to set it up as well, is like working for, like how I program things changed a lot. Like I would say, like I have much more like fluid periodization than I do about than like sort of traditional periodization,
Mhm.
especially when I'm dealing with like hockey players and stuff like that. Now with myself, with something like this, I would probably look at um 3 weeks of build because it's still a long way to go. It's a long time, 9 months. Like some people doing 2 years worth of training for this, right? So like we've gone now. This is the time to really step it up. The general fitness has been built, like basic level. Um, what was I going to say now? I've lost train of thought.
General fitness, 9-month build up.
Sorry, yeah. So I want to work for 3 weeks, like following like that kind of progression. Then, so we've got three of those blocks where we can be building up. And then that last week, I like the idea of I call it like reaching. So like it's kind of like a deloady week over the whole week, but there's one day in that week where you go in and you're going to do something that is a bit out there and something way beyond what you've done. So it could be like a good mountain climb, like a tough one, could be a trail run, and that's more like just for that mental side to build in that level of comfort with the hard work and also reaching for something more, because when you set being in the gym all the time, it can get real fucking boring pretty quick, you know? And if once a month you're going to reach out just a little bit more than what you've been doing, that's my idea. But then sort of blanket in before and after, really reducing load massively, just to then set you up to go back in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And so here's my thought on like the mindset type shit. With a lot of these guys, like someone like you either have it or you don't, and you have it. Right? I don't think there's any amount of exposure for you personally, challenging, whatever, that's gonna change you one bit, one iota.
Oh
You know
no,
what?
I would say so. I would also say I'm not looking for it so much to change. I'm just looking
I
um
if you want
for
to do
like
it,
the exposure to be
yeah.
comfortable. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Being
if
comfortable because me, I can fight through anything, but then I might not be able to walk for fucking 2 weeks after. You know what? That's more my issue. So it's just
yeah,
about exposing just a little bit to the more extreme side of the endurance stuff.
yeah, that's fine. I can see that. The and expose but I mean that's what your camps are for, you know?
True. That's true. That's true.
You
That's
know,
true.
so I don't for you personally, just show up, do your fucking thing. As long as you just keep doing your work, you'll be fine. You don't need to do anything extreme because you're already extreme by nature. I mean, sure, have something to work towards and make it fun, but like, do you need to challenge yourself? No, you just fucking rode across a Pacific Ocean. Like, it's you were on a motorcycle for 18 months where you in on a continent where you didn't speak the fucking language.
This is past, bro. This is the
Yeah,
past.
sure, whatever you got to tell yourself. You know what I mean? Like that's fine. That's why you stay hungry. That's fine. But like from my perspective, it's I had a guy that used to be in he was a big mindset guy and he'd stay in the sauna. Me and him would sauna together and he'd sit there and he'd stay an extra 5 minutes every time. I said, why? He goes, because it's hard. I was like, oh, is that why you're not catching balls? Because your mindset isn't fucking right. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's not your fucking mindset. Your mindset's fine. Watch the balls into your fucking hands. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like,
For sure. But I understand because I know a lot of guys that are also like this. But I don't think I would do that. That's my mindset. I don't think that's my mindset. Just doing that extra 5 minutes just because it's difficult.
Said the
I think
bullshit.
more like the more
Bullshit,
more
bullshit,
no.
bullshit, bullshit. No, 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 no. You know why? Because you said,
Oh,
mate, I'm setting the timer on my fucking stopwatch for an hour, and I'm not getting out of the sauna. And you said you were lying.
that was years ago, and I was all yeah. That was
You're
like
fucking
yeah.
stupid.
No, no, but I
Don't say
learned.
you're not that guy. You are that guy.
Well, maybe I still am. I feel like I feel. I hope I've made a step. I hope I've made. I hope I've made a step. No, that was. Oh, mate, that was a hot. That was a tough one. That was
Yeah,
real.
so like you
Uh,
enjoy the mental challenge. So you don't necessarily need the exposure to mental challenge in preparation for this because it's
yeah.
like, like how much exposure do you really need?
I feel like nowadays, though, mate, it's more like it's an opportunity to find the comfort in it. I think rather than the hardness itself, because I think there's also a lot of things that you can grind about and suffer with, or not. So say like with a lot of like the extreme endurance stuff, I would argue that there's some out there that are doing it purely for the how hard it is, right? And like they're doing it to be hard and show themselves they're tough, show other people they're tough, and also maybe to try and distract them from some other feelings that they're going through. And then there's also guys that they're doing the ultra endurance because in there they're like, rather than suffering, it's like ultimate pleasure. Do you know what I mean? And you could also argue again that like then are they doing that also to try and avoid certain feelings or not? That's also an argument because it's always individual specific, you know. But not all things just because they seem hard on the package are linked then to the suffering and to the grind of it. You know what I mean? Like what can be awful walking on coals for one person could be like
Yeah.
floating on fucking clouds for the other one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a lot of how you see it. Because I think for me, like the ultra endurance stuff is like I ain't that tough and all this. Like that's not the thing. I think I get through moments where you hit the bliss, you hit the euphoria in the stages, and that's way more attractive than the oh I'm slogging it hard here and I'm so tough because I'm doing like it's not that's not the spark for me at least. That's why I say I'd like to think I don't think nowadays I would set the timer for the sauna. I think I learned my lesson on that one as well pretty quick. The sauna's a
Yeah.
big one. But you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
think different
assign
ways.
whatever word you want to it. Assign whatever emotion you want to it. You just don't need to fucking practice at it. And I'd love to tell you it's a waste of your time, but it's part of your personality and you enjoy doing it. So it doesn't matter. And if you're going to enjoy doing it, like fucking go and do it. But don't think that you need to fucking work at it because you fucking enjoy it. I don't need to work at fucking eating mutts or like eating pizza. Like I'm really good at it and I fucking enjoy it.
How much mutts could you eat in 24 hours, my friend, if we worked on it?
So,
It's the
so
question.
I
There we
saw,
go. They got you going.
I saw this one chick. There's the world record for eating two. I think it's a kilo of mutts is like a minute and a half or 2.5 minutes, something like. I can fucking do that.
Bro, that's your calling, man. Look at the energy that I see in you right now. This is what we should be working for, bro. How would you break that down? Let's say you're going for the world record eating mutts. What are you doing? Let's break it down. Let's be serious.
Well, I'd put on Sopranos and I'd enjoy myself, and then before I know it, it'd be fucking gone.
There we go, bro. There we
Before,
go.
before I know it, Tony's not even out of the chair in the fucking in the doctor's office in my first fucking minute and a half of the fucking video. Like I'm set. It's not a
Before
problem,
the credits are done at the beginning of it.
bro. He didn't get out of the he's smoking so he didn't get out of his fucking Escalade yet, like or his Suburban, not the Escalade, the Suburban. Yeah, dude, I saw this video of this chick eating mutts. I was like, ooh,
I could
could I
do.
be in the world? Like I can do
See?
this.
Right. So why did that come up in your mind? Because it's a possibility, my man. Maybe it's calling you. I'm dead serious. It's
Bro,
calling you.
you know what I did right before this? It's an hour ago, maybe about 15 minutes before this. I had 6 ounces of super sod and a big container of honey. I just fucking housed the whole thing. I
Yeah.
didn't think twice, and that was after I ate.
So I wanted to ask this, ask this to you too. You know much? Have you ever heard about this like honey maxin diet or something? Have you ever heard of this?
Oh no, what the fuck is this now? I'm
So,
gonna try something stupid now.
so to be honest, you're gonna have to look it up because I haven't looked at it properly. But I think it's something along the lines of like what Jesse Itzler does, where it's just pretty much for a big chunk of the day, you're low protein, high on sugars, a lot of fruits, you know. So like someone like Jesse Itzler, right? He only eats fruit before midday. I mean, he is what is he, veggie or a vegan anyway, isn't he?
Listen, not for nothing. I love him. I love his shit. I don't want to look like him.
Oh, of course not. I mean, you 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 can't. You too caveman-esque. You are.
Bro,
But
buddy's built like a vegan, you know?
yeah, I'm sure. I think he's vegan. I think he is vegan. But that's the first time I'd heard of it, and I was like, "Well, that sounds quite nice to just eat fruit all bloody morning," you know. But I'm sure that's just it's just too much overload of sugar. But then I started seeing it circulating a bit more, and that's why I wanted to ask you. I would love to have known more about it and to be able to be a bit more prepared to ask you, but I wasn't sure if you'd heard about this sort of, restricting low protein in certain parts of the day to then going into high protein and in
So
that
so
protein stage looking at really a lot of fruit, like a hell of a lot of fruit.
so this is it's contradictory to some of the research that I read, where majority of the protein synthesis occurs. The optimal timing of protein synthesis is between 5 a.m. and 12 p.m. So like morning. So your breakfast, lunch, that should be high protein. Then after that should be your uh your carbohydrates. Now, my problem with that is by the bioavailability of meat is 100% usually 95 to 100%, 93 to 100% of most cooked meat. Um, so the digestion rate of that is about, or absorption rate is 0.555 kilograms per pound of body weight, or 0.555 grams per kilogram of body weight, I believe, um, per hour. Right. So if you're 100 kilograms, 55 grams of protein in an hour is essentially what you're going to be able to absorb at
Right,
one time hourly.
right,
Uh, my problem with that is by eating all your protein earlier in the day and having your carbohydrates later in the day, it prematurely pushes out the protein if you have it too close together. So the fibers of your vegetables and your fruits, like it pushes it out. That's why you have bulk to your stool.
right,
Whereas if you just eat, and I told the story with, I think I told it with Jason, Carnivore JT, where if I eat 2 pounds of mutts, I'll shit white. But if I eat 2 pounds of mutts, if I eat 2 pounds of mutts and then fast, I don't shit at all. And then my next shit is normal color because I absorb literally 100% of that mutts pretty much because the bioavailability is
just sitting
is
there.
is
Yeah,
so high. It just
yeah,
takes time. They
yeah,
say like red meat just sits there. Yeah, because you're not done eating it. You're not done digesting it. The only time it comes out in bulk is when you prematurely digest it, when it gets pushed out along the way when the carbohydrates are in. So, in that sense, carbohydrates earlier in the day would make sense. Like then it's like, yeah, you do the carbs earlier in the day. It just doesn't line up with the protein synthesis.
yeah,
Um, and there's good research as to having protein in your stomach prior to working out for
yeah,
optimal recovery and muscle growth as well. It's like,
yeah,
man, I don't fucking know. Yeah, sure. Eat carbs earlier in the day. Um, and earlier in the day, actually, eating everything earlier in the day has a better impact on insulin sensitivity as well.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But your cortisol is higher earlier in the day as well. So you don't necessarily want to consume the carbohydrates when your cortisol is as high as it is. You want to wait until the cortisol drops because that
Right,
messes with your ability to absorb carbohydrates.
right,
Therefore,
right.
pointing more towards the protein based diet earlier on. I think. I don't know. But
I
interesting
feel
thoughts.
like with diet, yeah, with diet, you can find research that tells you fucking anything.
Anything.
You know what I mean? Like if I go
Anything.
bro science, like I know now how to, I know how to get myself fat pretty quick, and I also know how I feel good. And usually feeling good wise, carbs before and after training,
Mm.
during training, outside of that, keep it pretty small. That's
You know,
about it.
when I was doing the carnivore diet, my my reps sucked, and then as soon as I started eating pasta again, man, my reps went through the roof. I fucking just bang them out, no problem,
Yep.
no problem.
Yep.
Like any kind of bread, pasta, anything, fucking anything, any kind of carbs. My the slightest amount, my endurance went through the roof. I mean,
Yep.
just eat everything. The timing of it is the timing of it. Like it's I don't know.
You know what I mean, you can get so lost in the weeds with this shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I was telling you before, like even though the carnivore diet's like an elimination diet, I still had allergies when I was on carnivore.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
But
Like
bro,
during
the idea that something's going to be the holy grail that fixes all. I mean, this is also, you know, we're getting we end up just shooting ourselves in the foot a little bit because carnivore has many great benefits, but we also shouldn't expect it to heal up every single thing. You know what I mean?
oh yeah. Well, I mean also it's the avoidance versus inoculation conversation that we've had.
Yeah, yeah. And then exactly, and then you nearly ended up going to hospital for eating what hazelnut or whatever.
Yeah, for eating walnuts, I'm sitting there in anaphylaxis because I've been avoiding it for so long. They say the same thing with the peanut allergies too. So many people are avoiding the peanuts because there's an allergy to them that they develop a fucking allergy. Meantime, if you just let your kid eat some fucking peanut butter early on, like it wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah,
But they avoided it for so long, it's now a problem.
yeah. Well, it's the way my mum did it with me. I was allergic to chocolate and dairy as a kid, and she used to just give me tiny little amounts
Yep.
and just build my system up. I mean, you can drink a shot of poison, I guess, if you start small enough dosage.
Snake venom. It's
There
not the
you go.
poison. It's not the poison. It's the dose.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Should we wrap it up there then? Is that a good dosage for this? We'll
Yeah.
start rambling otherwise.
Yeah. Sounds good.